going on? Welcome back to Max Boneyard Builds. In today's episode, we're going to destroy another t-shirt, get our hands nice and greasy, keep pressing on this OBS project, keep putting things on the motor, working underneath it. Let's just keep pressing on. Keep pressing on. Alright guys, absolutely no idea how this video is going to turn out. Trying to film this may not be the easiest, but we're going to put the drive shaft back in the OBS project. So we're climbed up under here. This being a two-piece shaft, you got that carrier bearing here with two-piece shaft, which makes life just a little bit harder because it's kind of twisting and bending on you and everything else, but you know, we'll get her done. I did the right thing for once. Put my bolts back. Always put your bolts back, so now I've got those. Didn't lose them, thank God. We're going to get them pulled out of there, put on the creeper for me to not find later. Get the start shaft lined up to go in the old 460. Look at there, sliding right in place. Maybe. And of course, it's not going in the tail shaft. I don't know why. There it goes. Whew, in like butter. Alright. So now I've got it pushed all the way into the tail shaft of the transmission. So before we hook up the carrier bearing and hook it back up to the support up here, we got to run to the back and we need to hook it up back here on the rear end. Always put your bolts back. Got my two clips right here ready to roll. It does look like this pinion seal's definitely seen better days. Once we get this project up and going, may try and get this bad boy to a lift and get some assistance on getting that pinion seal changed. I'll consider that maintenance, you know what I mean? Right now, just gonna try and get this baby up and going. before I take that tape off of those U-joints, as you can see, I got to get this thing spun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back up to the front, knock that thing, get the transmission in gear, hopefully, and get some spinach. There we go, to where I need that to be. So that way, as soon as I get that tape off, I'll be able to back that up right where I need it to be. That looks pretty good. The big thing is, guys, is with these U-joints, especially with your tape and everything, you don't want that U-joint to come apart on you. Otherwise, you've got a mess everywhere. All the little bearings. So now, hopefully, we can muscle this thing back. Keep everything together. And it should fall right into place, something like that. I'll give her a tug, make sure she's nice and seated. Put your caps back on. A ratcheting set of wrenches right now would be really nice. Somebody's looking for a good Christmas present. You know, the guy won't argue. Birthday present, you know, St. Patrick's Day, whatever. Again, make sure you just double check everything, guys, even after you've already tightened them up. If you do one side, see, I got just a little bit left on that one. Just because I tightened up the other side. See, I got a little bit left on that one too. Takes 2 seconds to go back around, triple check all your bolts, make sure you got them all nice and tight. So anytime you're dealing with anything cylindrical, is that the right word? There we go. That's back in place. Alright, now we're jumping back up here to the carrier bearing. And you should be able to see your marks, which look like everything is going to fall right back in place to where it originally was. Slide up here in the front. Yep, pulled out of the drive shaft. Woo, just a little bit. You got to make sure you have a little bit of movement. I think everything should be good to go. Oh, hold on. Just trying to make sure everything's lined back up where it was. Make sure I've got movement in and out. Should be good to go. Yep, just make sure everything lines back up nice and straight, guys. Tighten everything down. Alright guys, looking at the EVAP system, so I am not 100% sure, but I think this is how we're going to run this, is that I believe this EVAP here, we've got an EVAP here, then we got an EVAP here, then on the old 350 it had the EVAP purge solenoid over here on the side, okay? So obviously this hard line running from the top up and over used to go somewhere in here on the 350, okay? Which now it needs to go over here on the new one, which of course whenever they pulled the motor they broke the nipple off of the EVAP purge solenoid on the top, but thankfully Reds hooked the brother up and I went and picked up a new one of those today, so we should be good there. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to run this hard line down, up and under until it makes a bend down here, and then after it makes this bend I've got some fuel rated hose. I'm going to slip that over it, clamp it, run a fuel rated hose up around the back of the intake here, and then just snake it through here. Take the other 90, snip it off this hard line, clamp it, put it here, because that's going to be covered up by the old Vortec cover on the top. So I think that's where we're going to go. As far as the LS portion, it's going to be hooked up here for the purge solenoid for the PCM to talk to it, but I'm not quite sure about this one down here. If anybody's got any suggestions, I would appreciate a comment and letting the brother know before I start chasing gremlins trying to get this EVAP to work. I'm not quite sure the purge down here, and then we've run it across, and I got another purge up here, and I'm not quite sure, but hopefully we'll figure it out. Maybe this is tank pressure. I don't know. A brother just don't know, but I'm going to have to try and figure it out. So why don't we go ahead and I'm going to I'm going to snip this line, move it over, hook up that flex line to move back over, and snip it on, and get to moving, and get that out of the way. And then we're going to get coil packs cleaned up. We're going to put those on. Man, we're just going to keep pressing on with the project to start hooking up everything we can, because there's a lot of stuff to hook up, and let's see how far we get today. Alright, so I think where I'm going to want to run this is I'm going to try and take this and see how it's got this bend right here. I'm thinking right after this bends where I'm going to snip it. So that way, after I get it snipped, I can tuck it down under here, and then that's where I can run. Well, no, I don't want to put too much pressure. Yeah, she might run something like that. So that way it runs up here with the brake lines and everything. Yeah, I'll tell you what, let's just snip that baby back in here, because here, once I get it ran, I'm trying not to put too much of a bend there. You know what I mean? So in that way, it's nice and flat here. Got your service port tightened up. Then that's going to run up and under the brake booster portion, somewhere like that. Then I can tie in the soft line. That can even go on the back side of there. There we go. Yeah, I think that's the money. So let's snip that off right here at this bend. From what I understand, this EVAP line, it doesn't hold like a lot of pressure or anything. So hopefully it's not going to be the end of the world. Yeah, see, something like that. It's still nice and open. I just used a pair of wire snips. It's just that like PTFE plastic or whatever it is. Boom, popped it. It's a nice and clean there. Then I should be able to take my fuel hose. What is this? 3/8 fuel hose. Slide that in like that. Put a hose clamp on it. Clamp it off, and that should hold it up. And this isn't EFI rated hose or anything. Like I said, there's no pressure on this line, so we should be good to go there. Just sliding that in quite a ways, make a good seal. Ooh, that's a little bitty. Let me go grab a screwdriver, tighten that down. Well, I hope everybody likes the progress on the old OBS project. As you can tell on the engine bay here, did a few things off camera. Nothing crazy. I put the alternator power steering bracket back on. Fit perfectly fine, no issues. The OBS hoses, they fit back on, no issues whatsoever. Was able to pop them right back on, and right down here, hopefully you can see right here, this had a power steering cooler on it, so it had like a 90 coming back out. I was able to take the high side, just barely kind of put a twist on this line here. It comes up and over, spins right down, twisted or bolted right in there. Then of course the low side it just comes back up, makes a twist, goes right into the low side. All the 98 power steering hoses fit just fine. Alternator, power steering, and everything popped right in. Shouldn't be any problem at all. So. Making sure I got a good connection there. Looks like I do. She's nice and smashed down. Route this back where I wanted it. If I can figure that out again. I'd like it if that hose clamp connection is kind of tucked in and hidden behind that brake booster. There we go. I can kind of sneak it. Well, no. Let's put a pinch on the line there. Let's try and slide that up. I'm trying to keep the pressure off this nipple here because this is just a plastic nipple that comes up, and I don't want to put any pressure on that to make it unhappy. That's not bad. It's just kind of tucked in inside the brake lines. Coming back up. Oh, where's my short man stool? There we go. There we go. See, that didn't look too bad. It's tucked back in behind that brake booster. Then I figured I'd come back up with it. Let's go on the other side of that brake booster line. Like so. Come back up. I figured it'd just run somewhere like that. And now let's take out the broken EVAP. All that is just a 8 mil on the top. The junkyard will provide, guys. Boop. That comes right out of there. As you can see, that O-ring's pretty smashed. Anyways, that nipple was broke off the top of there. Went down to reds. Got a new one. New nipple. And then that little guy should just pop, yep, right back into place. On the C10 project, I eliminated all this EVAP stuff, but I'm going to try and do my best to keep everything hooked back up how it should be. We'll see how it works. Remember, it's just plastic. Don't get crazy. Tighten her back down. Man, that seems a little loose. I wonder if there's two different styles or something. I don't know. Plug looks the same. It's not coming out. It does seem a little loose though. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Alright, so then we've got the portion that we cut off. Oh, look at there. That's missing the retainer clips. That's not going to work. Always keep all your parts. All your parts, all your parts. So now we've got... Here's the part that broke off. You can still see the nipple inside there. Get yourself a pick. You're just going to move this to the side a little bit. And that will open up that retainer that's inside there. Hopefully we can get that other piece out of there. grab a hold to get it pulled out. Got it. There we go. See, there's a will, there's a way. You can see there's an O-ring inside there. Make sure that stays. There's our little culprit. Pick just couldn't get it, so just shove a giant lag screw in there and yank that baby out. So we've got that small piece that's out of there. Finally was able to get that out with a lag screw and a pick, and of course my poor pick, look at that thing, got all bent up. Old Harbor Freight, gotta love it. Anyways, so what I'm thinking is this is gonna go here. I'm gonna go ahead, just make my snip right here in the middle. Again. Man, I'll tell you what, that makes a nice clean cut in case anybody's ever got to do this. Get that out of the way. Grab another hose clamp. This line's going to come up. That's going to go there. Oh, I need to grab a razor blade, don't I? Wow. Boy, that was a little rough. Alright. Got that. That's going to go on here. No, Winston, you weasel. Be quiet. Squeeze that baby in there. Nice and deep. Make sure you ain't got no gaps. And then cinch this one up. We'll make sure to get that nice and tight, because I would assume that'd make one heck of a EVAP leak. There we go. Nice and tight, pinched all the way around. Like I said, we're just going to sneak that baby through here like so. Just going to come back around here, and then that should grab a hold right there. And then once we get that Vortec cover on there, that'll help clean a little bit of that up. Factory throttle cables, they're a little long, as you can see. Got the here's the factory throttle here, then here is the factory cruise cable. Everything just bolted right up, guys. Zero issues whatsoever. Snapped right into place. Both of the brackets were the same. Like I said, once that cover's on, I think that should hold everything down quite nicely. I'll tell you what I am going to do. I think I'm going to grab a drill, put a zip tie right there. Man, that'll hold everything nice in place and keep everything back against the firewall. That'll look pretty good, I think. Just keep everything tucked up there. Who says these big, ugly truck intakes aren't worth something? There's all types of room for activities. Check that out. Mounting port for the zip tie. Check that out. Keep everything nice and tight. Right there, right there. Snip off our extra. Boom. Everything's nice and tight, nice and clean. And I do wish that will stay back there somewhere. Let's see if I can't. Maybe whenever I get the wiring harness in here, I'll be able to keep that tucked back up in there. That way you don't see that extra hose clamp too bad. So there we go. EVAP line, custom made EVAP line. You got your factory one here, runs off the purge, comes up around. We went to a soft line back here, put it together, runs back up around the intake. Got it zip tied down with the throttle cables and that. Back to the original. This is the original hard line off the 02. This is the original hard line off the 98. It's the exact same stuff, but obviously they custom bend these to where they want, but they didn't obviously have one that would bend up around exactly where I wanted it. So 3/8 inch line over top, cinched them down. Everything's put back in together where we like it. All right, what's the next project? Alright, so there you go, guys. original 98 heater hoses. They work, exact same sizes. Used the factory location here on the fender, trimmed them up to size to where I wanted. Went with regular old hose clamps, manned them these jobs. They work, but man, they suck. Just saying. Anyways, so got those buttoned up. Just used the original hoses. Man, it worked like a charm.